The deep, throaty growl of the Cessna's engine vibrated through the chilly night air as I swung my beat-up pickup into the gravel lot outside our private hangar, the dashboard clock glowing 2:17 a.m. I just snagged a six-pack from the rundown gas station a mile down the road, desperate to cool off after a blowout fight with my wife, Tara, that left my ears ringing and my chest tight. She'd been off for weeks, sneaking out for work calls at weird hours, smirking at her phone like it was spilling secrets I wasn't privy to. I'd been wrestling with the sinking feeling she was stepping out on me, but nothing, not a single paranoid thought, could have prepped me for the gut-wrenching scene waiting inside. I shove open the hangar's rusted steel door, hinges groaning under the strain, and freeze. There she is, my jaw-dropping wife, Tara, all long legs, dangerous curves, and that sultry edge that used to make my pulse race, locked in a steamy, no-holds-barred makeout session with my mom. Yeah, Ellen, my 58-year-old mother, gray streaks catching the dim overhead lights, her hands tangled in Tara's dark waves, their lips mashed together like they're filming some twisted, forbidden romance gone off the deep end. The toolbox in my sweaty grip slips, crashing to the concrete with a sharp, metallic clang that echoes like a thunderclap through the cavernous space. They jolt apart, caught dead in the act. Tara's hazel eyes blow wide, her lipstick smeared across her cheek in a sloppy red streak, panic flashing across her face like a deer in headlights. Mom, though, she's ice-cold, flashing the smug, lopsided smirk, her chin tilted up like she's daring me to swing. Babe, it's not what it looks like. Tara blurts, her voice cracking as she stumbles over her scuffed boots toward me, hands flailing like she can wave this nightmare away. I'm rooted to the spot, breath caught in my throat, then the rage hits, hot, blinding, surging up my chest like a wildfire. My wife and my mom? In our hangar? My head spinning, a chaotic mess of shock and betrayal, and all I can think is, what kind of sick, backstabbing hell did I just stumble into? Let's rewind a couple months, 'cause hindsight's a brutal teacher, and I was flunking the class with flying colors. Tara's always been a knockout, tall, curvy, with a smile that could charm a snake and a presence that owns any room, from a grimy dive bar with peanut shells on the floor to a swanky penthouse with skyline views and overpriced cocktails. We met 3 years back at a crypto conference in Vegas. She was hustling some half-baked NFT scheme, all big promises and bigger charisma, working the room like a pro. I was just a small-time grinder running a mining rig out of my garage, dreaming of cashing out someday. The spark was instant, electric, her hazel eyes locked on mine across a crowded booth, and I was done for. We got hitched 6 months later in a tacky chapel off the strip, high on adrenaline and cheap champagne, too fast, sure, but I was all in, head over heels for her fire. Lately, though, she'd been obsessed with leveling up our game, dragging me into these murky deals, encrypted wallets with passwords I couldn't pronounce, offshore accounts in places I'd never heard of, stuff I didn't fully get but nodded along to. 'Cause I trusted her smarts. She'd roll in late, smelling like high-end perfume and vague excuses, meetings with investors, networking with some big shots she wouldn't name. I'd ask questions and she'd brush me off with that dazzling smile, saying, "Don't worry, babe, I've got this." Then there's Mom, Ellen, showing up at our place more often, claiming she's been lonely since Dad walked out a decade ago, leaving us with nothing but a stack of bills and a bitter taste. I thought it was sweet, her and Tara getting tight, coffee runs to that hipster joint downtown, shopping trips where they'd come back giggling with bags from boutiques I couldn't afford. I'd catch them whispering in the kitchen, heads close over steaming mugs, laughing at some inside joke, and I'd shrug it off, thinking they were just bonding, filling the gaps Dad left behind. Now it's crystal clear, they weren't bonding, they were plotting, weaving a web I was too blind to see. Mom's new Louis Vuitton bags, Tara's sudden splurges on jewelry and tech, she'd wave it off as bonuses, but I should have dug deeper. That night in the hangar, the pieces slammed together like a freight train, and I felt like the world's biggest sucker, played by the two women I'd have taken a bullet for without a second thought. I'm losing it now, my voice raw and jagged, bouncing off the hangar's steel walls like a ricochet in a war zone. What the hell is this, Tara? My mom? Are you out of your freaking mind? She's floundering, tripping over herself with excuses. It's not like that, I swear, just hear me out. Her hands trembling as she reaches for me, mascara streaking black rivers down her cheeks. Her voice is shaky, desperate, but I barely hear it over the roar in my head. Then I catch it, a rough, gravelly cough from the cockpit, one I'd know anywhere, even after all these years apart. My head snaps up, eyes narrowing, and there he is, Dad, gray hair thinning under the cockpit light, that smug, crooked grin plastered on his weathered face, leaning out of the plane like he's about to jet off to some tropical hideout with a piña colada in hand. "Hey, son," he drawls, smooth and casual, like he didn't vanish from our lives 10 years ago without so much as a goodbye note. Didn't think you'd crash this little get-together. My brain stalls out, short-circuiting hard, 1,000 memories flashing, him walking out, Mom crying over the kitchen table, me promising I'd never turn into him. Dad? The deadbeat who left us high and dry? He's in on this? Tara's face crumples, her breath hitching like she's about to shatter, tears pooling in her eyes as she chokes out, I didn't want you to find out like this. Mom steps forward, all business, no shame, her voice slicing through the chaos like a blade. We're moving 5 mil in crypto, kid, she says, holding up a sleek hardware wallet, its LED screen glinting under the hangar's flickering bulbs like a trophy she's proud to flaunt. Private jet to the Caymans. You weren't supposed to be part of this, too soft for the game. My knees nearly buckle as the truth slams into me, my wife's not just cheating with my mom, they're running a full-on crypto smuggling ring with my dad. The betrayal's a sledgehammer to my chest, splintering everything I thought was solid, my marriage, my family, my whole damn life. I'm shaking, fists clenched so tight my nails dig crescent moons into my palms, staring at the 3 people I trusted most, now morphed into this crew of cold-blooded hustlers right in front of me. The air's thick, electric, the engines hum a low growl underscoring the tension, and I'm teetering on the edge of something dark, something I can't come back from. I don't think, I just act, pure instinct kicking in like a switch flipped to survival mode. The fuel line's right there, a fat rubber hose snaking from the tank to the Cessna's underbelly, glinting faintly in the dim light like a lifeline begging to be cut. I snatch a wrench off the greasy concrete, my hands slick with sweat and shaking with adrenaline, and swing it hard once, twice, 3 times, smashing the valve open with a sickening crunch. Gasoline sprays out in a wild, hissing arc, soaking the floor in a shiny, stinking puddle that catches the light like liquid fire, the sharp chemical tang burning my nose. Tara screams, "What the hell are you doing?" Her voice high and shrill, lunging toward me with wild eyes, her boots slipping on the wet concrete as she tries to grab my arm. Mom's faster, she charges like a feral cat, nails raking my forearm deep enough to draw blood, snarling, "You little punk, you'll ruin everything we built." I shove her back hard with my free hand. She stumbles, crashing into a stack of wooden crates that splinter and collapse in a chaotic heap, tools and junk spilling across the floor in a clattering mess, screwdrivers, a hammer, a busted flashlight rolling into the growing fuel puddle. Dad's hollering from the cockpit, "Get him off me, now," his voice cracking with panic as he fumbles with the controls, the engine whining louder like a beast waking up. I rip open the emergency kit bolted to the wall, my fingers trembling as I yank out a flare, bright red, hissing like a live wire when I twist it to life. The tip sparks, glowing hot, and I toss it into the fuel puddle without a second thought, the motion automatic, fueled by rage. The hangar erupts, flames roar up with a deafening whoosh, heat blasting my face like I've stepped into an oven, the air thick with the bitter stench of burning gas and rubber. I bolt for the door, boots pounding the concrete, heart slamming against my ribs so hard I think it'll bust out, but the plane's engine kicks into high gear, they're actually trying to take off through the fire. I'm halfway across the tarmac, lungs burning, legs pumping, when the Cessna lifts off, wobbling like it's drunk on fumes, the flames licking at its tail, paint blistering. Then boom, the left wing explodes midair, a fireball tearing through the night sky, lighting up the woods beyond like a twisted 4th of July show gone wrong. Debris rains down, twisted metal shards, a shredded seat, chunks of smoking rubber crashing around me as I dive to the dirt, rolling behind a stack of old tires, ears ringing like a church bell on a bender. I think they're gone, burned to ash in the wreckage, their scam swallowed by the blaze. But then I see them, 3 shadows staggering out of the smoking ruin, coughing, singed but alive, their silhouettes jagged against the firelight. Tara's clutching her arm, Mom's limping, and Dad's got that wild look in his eyes. They lock onto me across the tarmac, and I know they're not done. They're coming for me, and they're out for blood. Now I'm tearing through the woods behind our property, branches snapping under my boots like brittle bones. The cold night air slicing into my lungs with every ragged, desperate breath. My phone's buzzing like a hornet's nest in my pocket. Tara's name flashing over and over on the cracked screen, but I yank it out and smash it against a tree trunk. The glass shattering into a glittery mess that scatters in the dirt like confetti from a party I never wanted. I'm done with her voice, her tears, her lies. I can't stomach another word from her mouth. They've got the prize. 5 million in crypto, locked tight in that wallet Mom was waving like a victory flag. And I've got nothing but a busted wrench still clenched in my sweaty fist. It's cold metal grounding me as my mind spins out of control, and a chest full of rage boiling over like a volcano ready to blow. I hear Dad's voice cutting through the dark, barking orders like some wannabe mob boss. Spread out. He's close. Find him. Don't let him slip. His tone hard and relentless, the same tone he used to use when he'd scream at me as a kid for spilling juice on the carpet. Tara's sobbing somewhere behind him, her voice breaking into jagged, pitiful pieces. He ruined everything. He's dead to me. I can't believe he'd do this. And it twists the knife deeper, her betrayal echoing in my skull. They're hunting me like I'm some wounded animal, closing in with every crunch of leaves under their boots. And I get why. I saw the wallet seed phrase when Mom flashed it like a flex. Those 12 random words burned into my brain like a tattoo I can't shake. I've got the key to drain their accounts, wipe their whole scam clean, turn their precious millions into nothing but a memory. I could log into my laptop if I make it back to the house, plug in that phrase and watch their empire crumble in real time, every cent vanishing into the ether. But here's where it gets real, fam. What do I do now? Fight back. Hack in, steal every last dime, maybe torch their lives like they tried to torch mine in that plane, leave them scrambling in the ashes of their own greed? Or run. Let them keep their dirty cash, disappear into the night, and pray they don't track me down to finish what they started with that crash? I'm crouched behind a rotting log, chest heaving, sweat dripping into my eyes, stinging like acid, the wrench heavy in my hand like a lifeline or a weapon. I can't decide which. The woods are alive with sound. Crunching leaves, snapping twigs, the distant howl of a coyote mixing with their voices. And then I hear Tara, closer now, her tone shifting, soft and pleading through the trees. Babe, come out. Please, we can fix this. I still love you. I didn't mean for it to go this far. My blood runs cold, a shiver crawling up my spine. Her words dripping with a sweetness that feels like poison now. She's close, too close, and Dad's footsteps echo behind her. Steady and unyielding, a predator zeroing in. Mom's voice joins the mix, sharp and commanding. He's got the phrase. We can't let him live with that. And my stomach drops. Time's up. They're on me, maybe 20 yards out. Shadows moving through the trees like ghosts. Run or swing. Forgive or hunt them back. I'm staring into the abyss, heart pounding like a war drum, mind racing 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I'm out of moves. What would you do, fam? Drop it in the comments. 'Cause I'm at the edge of this nightmare. The wrench slick in my grip, their voices closing in, and I need to know what you'd pick to get me out of this living hell. Thank you very much for listening to this story to the end. I hope you liked. We work for you, looking for and telling you the most effective stories about women's betrayal, shocking intrigue, interweaving the plot and unexpected reactions of angry men. Save us, put likes, write comments, and, of course, subscribe to the channel to not miss any story.